Will one of the smallest saws made by Stihl cut through this massive 40-inch trunk? According to Stihl's website, it's perfect for cutting firewood and trees up to 12 inches in diameter. Mother Nature had a little surprise for us. This is the Hercules beetle grub. It feeds on rotten wood during its 2-year larval stage. The tree was rotten at the top from disease, so these beetles decided to make a home there. Today we're going to see if this little saw, the MS-80 by Stihl, can cut through this monster log. Now, this is definitely not the right tool for the job. It's too small, but it's what I have. So we're going to try to make it work some kind of way. As you may be able to see, yesterday I cut a whole bunch of this in small little pieces. This bad boy was wearing me out. The bar is obviously not long enough. It's a 16-inch bar. And the trunk of this thing is 40 inches. Now I know I can go and rent a 20-inch bar, but to be honest with you, I just bought this saw. I want to see what it can do. So if you're unfamiliar with how to start one of these, if it's cold, you basically have to hold the trigger in and then set it down to here. Right there. You give it 1 or 2 pulls until it makes that noise where it almost wants to start but doesn't, and then you would set it to here. Now just warm this thing up for a few minutes, so it should start. That's nice, real nice. Well, let's get to cutting. So let me mention some things. This is not the California compliant model. Those have a few extra things that help reduce emissions. It's also $40 more. I believe it has a catalytic converter inside of the muffler. I ended up not going with that model, thinking the extra restrictions in the muffler would cause it to lose power. So I'll tell you this, I've breathed in less exhaust in a traffic jam than I did from cutting this tree. It was bad. Although it's a little late now, I wouldn't mind trying that low emission model to see how it handles. That one is the MS180C-BE. Both of these have a 2 horsepower, 32cc engine, although the reduced emissions model is about a pound heavier. So I also forgot to mention that I was gonna have a little help. This right here is amazing, and I wouldn't be able to do it without it. Let me show you something really nice. I'm not gonna claim to be a chainsaw expert because I actually haven't used it professionally, just for things here and there, clean up and stuff like that. So I can't give you any sweet tips, but one thing I do know is a sharp chain is amazing, and this here is a result of it. See these long strips? The reason why I ended up buying a new chainsaw was because my old one decided to die on me. It was a home light. I've had it for about 5 years, although it's been in the garage for about 4. And I only use it to cut down some small diameter trees. I changed the carburetor and that fixed it for a while, but after cutting some small brush, it completely died again. It had no spark, so I ordered an ignition coil, thinking that would fix it, but it still doesn't run. In my opinion, I think a chainsaw is an essential tool. You never know when you'll need one, especially during natural disasters or heavy winds. And I want something that's going to be dependable that I can rely on. So this is the first thing I've owned from Stihl, so I can't comment on the longevity, and like most of us, I went online to find reviews about its quality. But to my amazement, they don't sell them online, at least not to my knowledge. You have to go to a dealer to get one. That kind of put me off, since everyone sells online. Luckily though, you can still get parts without going to a dealer. Just not the whole thing, I guess. There were a few things that made me decide to go with the Stihl name brand. One was someone asked a question on a forum of who sells the best chainsaw, and after looking at the comments, pretty much everyone said Stihl. There was a few people saying Husqvarna, and then one guy even said Homelight and Echo, but the majority was Stihl. And then, in my neighborhood, there were two separate professional tree cutting companies, and as I drove by, I made sure to look to see what type of brand they were using, and as you guessed it, they both had Stihl. They didn't have anything else except for the orange and gray plastic covered chainsaws. So that pretty much sold me. However, let me mention that they're most likely using the commercial models, and this one is a homeowner's model. Hopefully I can rely on it when I need it, as you do pay a premium for this brand. Something I'm doing differently now is using the 93 octane with no ethanol. That's what the manual recommends, and I think I'm going to stick with it. It is more expensive, but you're really only buying a few gallons at a time, so it's a good investment. So as you can tell, I spent some time on this, and luckily it's almost over. One thing I should mention is that you get about 10 minutes when you're full throttle and full bar into something like this on a tank of gas. I probably have about 1.5 gallons through it. So although it wasn't very fun, this tree gave me the opportunity to test out this chainsaw. And as I said, I'm really impressed, although I wouldn't want to do this again. I had the bright idea I was going to burn this freshly cut wood. It was so wet that I saw moisture rising to the surface after I hit it with an axe. My idea was to take a few fire logs that I bought from the store and let them dry up that wet wood so it would burn. And let me tell you, I was wrong. In the end, I finally accepted defeat and started throwing the pieces on the other side of the property. I should have done it in the beginning, but oh well. Just in case you guys were wondering how I got that tree down with just a 16-inch bar, I had a little help. This is an 18-inch Craftsman that's about 8 years old. It still runs, except the front sprocket seized up on me. I ended up ordering a new bar, but didn't receive it in time to finish cutting up this trunk. This might sound crazy, but I'm honestly looking forward to working with this again. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.